What role does GPT play in an OS boot sequence? Imagine turning on your computer and watching it come to life, loading your files and applications seamlessly. Have you ever wondered what happens behind the scenes during this process? Well, today we're going to explore how a modern technology called Generative Pre-trained Transformer, or GPT, fits into the way your computer starts up. When you power on your device, the first thing that runs is the firmware, which is like the computer's brain for initial setup. If your system uses UEFI, or Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, it looks for a special kind of disk partition called the GUID Partition Table, or GPT. This partitioning scheme is a newer way to organize your disk, replacing the older master boot record method. GPT helps the firmware find the right place to start loading your operating system. The GPT stores important information about how the disk is divided into sections, called partitions. It keeps multiple copies of this data across the disk, so if one gets corrupted, the system can still find its way. During startup, the firmware reads the GPT to locate the FI system partition. This partition contains the bootloader files, which are tiny programs that kick off the process of loading your operating system. Now here is where GPT plays a vital role. It makes sure the firmware can find the correct bootloader quickly and reliably, even on large or complex disks. The bootloader then takes over, loading the core parts of the operating system into memory. Without GPT, especially on systems with UEFI, the process might be less flexible and more prone to errors. You might wonder, where does GPT fit in with other parts of the startup? Well, it works hand in hand with UEFI, which is a modern replacement for the traditional BIOS. Together, they ensure your system boots faster, supports larger disks, and handles multiple partitions more efficiently. In simple terms, GPT acts like a detailed map for your computer's startup journey. It guides the firmware to the right place, making sure the boot process is smooth and dependable. This setup is especially important for newer operating systems like Windows and Linux distributions, which relying on UEFI and GPT to handle large disks and secure boot features. So next time you turn on your computer, remember that GPT is quietly working behind the scenes. It's the backbone that helps your system find its way from power on to fully loaded, ready-to-use state. Understanding this part of the boot process helps us appreciate how modern computers are designed to be faster, more reliable, and capable of handling the demands of today's technology.